everyone, this is Jason De Leon, your 365 associate. So for today, we will be discussing Power BI. So basically, Power BI is the business analytics tool of Microsoft. Since this is a more advanced topic, this would require, as a prerequisite, you should have at least basic knowledge in Microsoft Excel, so that you could have a very good foundation in working with Microsoft Power BI. Okay, so aside from your skill sets in Microsoft Excel, probably you are here as a student because you wanted to learn data visualization and business intelligence. Or you could be someone who is looking toward a career leap or transition into analytics. Or you could be a working professional or manager who creates reports or dashboard so that you could provide better decision making. Okay, so any of which, this is the perfect video for you to learn Microsoft Power BI. We will learn the art of modern way reporting. So by the way, this is not a sponsored video, so we'll just have it for a tutorial. Okay, so what are the 4 topics that we'll try to discuss? One is Power BI overview and Power BI desktop. Visualizing data through Power BI will be creating reports through charts and slicers, tiles, and boards. And then after that, Power BI service will be using the online service of Power BI so that our dashboard are AI powered, and you can also share it to your colleagues or to your classmates. No, yeah, that's the last portion: dashboard publishing and sharing. Okay, so we'll divide the whole Power BI training into 4 sets of videos. So the first one is Power BI overview and the Power BI desktop. So here we'll be discussing all about Power BI, why Power BI, how can we get Power BI, how Power BI is licensed, what are the components of Power BI, and we'll discuss the parts of Power BI desktop, how we can connect to data sources, what are the data sources that we can connect to, and then we can also get data from Excel as an example later on. I will try to pull data from Microsoft Excel and then create dashboard out from that Excel. So the first question is what is Power BI? So basically, Power BI is the business analytics solution of Microsoft. Okay, so it lets you visualize your data and share insights across organizations. So through Power BI, of course, you can create reports and dashboards that will help the decision makers. Okay, for a normal user or Power BI Pro user, you can use Power BI as your analytics tool for your actions needed to be taken. You can also create metrics that you care about most. Okay, so those are the definition of Power BI and the functions of Power BI. Why Power BI? Why not other dashboard builder? Okay, so the following are the reason. Number 1 is we are the leader according to the Magic Quadrant for Analytics and Business Intelligence Platforms of Gartner, published this year, February 2020. Okay, together with Tableau and ClickView. So on this side, these are basically my personal reason according to my personal experience. Why Power BI? Quick start, because in using Power BI, you'll be able to get insight quickly with not so complicated setup or no heavy training required. streamlined report publishing and distribution. So basically, once you use Power BI, you can streamline the reporting process of your company. Okay, so and the same thing with the distribution. So instead of emailing large files or putting them on a shared drive, so you can just upload the report or the visualizations to your Power BI, okay, and then later on share to your supervisor or manager. Seamless integration to Office application with other 365 applications. You can connect your Power BI as these applications could work as your data sources. Okay, actually, it is a seamless integration with Dynamics 365 business applications. There is also pre-built dashboard for Google Analytics if you're using Google Analytics or Salesforce. These are non-Microsoft products, but there is already a pre-built dashboard for them. If ever that you want to integrate your data to Power BI. Okay, real-time information, because dashboards update in real time as data is published or streamed in, which give viewers the ability to solve problems, okay, and identify opportunities quickly. So you can set actually the refresh parameter. Depends on your definition of real time, okay? So your real time could be on an hourly basis or on every 30 minutes, so on and so forth. Okay, Cortana integration and artificial intelligence. Since Power BI is a cloud service, you can actually make use of Cortana integration and artificial intelligence, no? Okay, so next is the Power BI components. How to get Power BI, what are the licensing details. Okay, so for Power BI components, we actually have 3 components of Power BI. One is the Power BI desktop, the one that I will show later on. Next is the Power BI service. It's an online service. And finally, the Power BI mobile application that can be downloaded through in iOS or Google App Store. How to get Power BI and what are the licensing details. Let me quickly show to you the Microsoft Power BI licensing option. So Power BI is licensed in 2 types, the Power BI Pro and the Power BI Premium. Power BI Pro costs around 500 Philippine peso per month per user. For Power BI Premium, it costs $4,995. Okay, so what are the differences? Between the two? Okay, so for Power BI Pro, since it's an online service, you can do collaboration, publishing, and sharing of your reports. But you know, this is fully managed by Microsoft since you are in a SaaS model or solution as a service. No, you cannot manage your once you publish, it's the Microsoft who actually does the management. Okay, you cannot make it on premise or something like that. For the premium, you have the option to do on-premise reporting. With regards to the capacity, it has more capacity as Power BI Premium has 100 terabyte storage. In case of Power BI Pro, you have 10 gig storage per user. That's per user. Okay, as to refresh parameters, for Power BI Premium, you can refresh your data automatically, schedule it automatically on 48 times a day. So meaning you can actually set every 30 minutes as the refresh time of your data. In case of Power BI Pro, you only have 8 refresh time, so you can only set it like 8 times a day. Okay, So those are the major difference between the two. So for you to actually use Power BI Desktop, you should have an account first. Okay, so we will be discussing how to create a Power BI account in next video on separate video, but for today I will be focusing on the Power BI Desktop. Okay, so you could also try free. There's a free version, but it only takes 60 days, so you have 2 months to have the free version. You can go here in downloads and click Power BI Desktop, and then you just need to install the Power BI Desktop. So basically it's a free application. You can download it and install it into your computer or laptop. Okay, so once downloaded, okay, you can now open your Power BI Desktop. So this is my Power BI Desktop. I'm using a paid version using my account, but in the next video I will be discussing how you can create account, okay, so that you could use the trial version. Okay, so now I'll be discussing the Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is a free application you can install on your local computer. Okay, with Power BI Desktop, you can connect multiple sources of data and combine them. Okay, so for the data, you can get the data here. So we have an Excel, Power BI datasets, or if you're using SQL Server or analysis services, you could also connect to those services. What's more, you could also connect to online or API ready software. Okay, so for file, basically these are the text or CSV. These are the flat file where you can connect. Okay, if your data is in Excel, that's okay. You can just click Excel. For relational databases, you could connect to SQL or Oracle database or SAP HANA database or IBM database. You could also connect to Power Platform. So if you're familiar with Power Common Data Service, this is the service that used by the Power Platform. Okay, so you could also connect from these data sets. If your database is in Azure, you could also connect and get your data there. We also have online services. Say if you're using Dynamics 365, will it be 365 Online or Business Central, you could also connect to this online services. Okay, if you're using Google Analytics or CRM, Dynamics 365 for sales, you could also do that. Okay, you could also connect to other data sources like web, SharePoint, or Active Directory, or OData field. Okay, in our example later on, I will be getting data from Excel. Okay, so you could have a look and feel. Most users who work on business intelligence projects use Power BI Desktop to create reports, and then use Power BI Service, okay, the online service, to share the reports. Okay, and then finally use the mobile application so that they can view the reports anytime, anywhere. So these are the views of Power BI. We have the report view. The report view is actually basically how you could you see your design, and then we also have the data table view, and finally the model view. In the data view, what you could see here, is basically the tables and measures and other data used in the data modeling, okay, associated with your report. In the model view, in this view, you see and manage relationships of your data tables. Okay. So these are your collapsible options here. We can you have here the filters, okay, where you can filter your data visualizations. You also have your visualization pane, where you can add and change or customize visualizations and apply drill through if necessary. You also have the fields here. Basically, these are the columns in your report. Okay, so now we'll try to get data from Excel. So to get started with Power BI desktop, you should have first data. You should connect to a data. So I will be connecting in this Excel financial sample. This is basically the my data, which contains segments, countries, product, discount, the amount, sales, and the profit. No. Okay. Before we create report, we should know first the concept of dimensions and measure when in reporting. So when we say dimension, these are the qualitative categories on how we slice and dice the data. Say for an example, salesperson or the country. So these are not measurable because they are not in figures, right? So this is a qualitative data that later on we will be using as a dimension in creating a report. Okay. The other one is the measure. Okay, basically the measure contains numeric or quantitative values that you can measure. It could be an amount or specific measure, a unit or what. Okay, for as long as you can measure it, it's part of the measure. So when we create a report later on, these are the X and Y of our reports, the dimensions and the measure. Okay. So this is my financial sample in Excel. What I'm going to do now is connect my Power BI to Excel or export the data. Okay, so I just need to click Get Data and then click Excel from the ribbon tool. Okay, so just open the financial sample. Now Power BI is establishing connection to my data source, which is the financial sample. Okay. So it seems that we have two sheets here, the financials and the sheet 1. So we'll try to transform or import the data in the financials sheet, in the first sheet of our workbook in Excel. Okay, so these are the data that we can get in our financial. The same sheet that I showed earlier. So let's load the data. Once loaded, you can see all of the columns, the dimensions and measures in the fields here in this section. Okay, so Power BI is creating connection in our fields now. Okay, so this relationship could be because of the categories, the filtering options, and so on. Okay, so upon getting the data from Excel, you can see from here the fields. It's now populated. The financials, sales, COGS, country. These are basically the same columns that I showed earlier. This one, segment, country, product. So these are now the fields. Okay, you can also see the table view in this view, the data table view. So very Excel, right? So the viewing is similar to Excel. And finally, the model. So we only have one one sheet or table here. That's why we if ever that we add another set of data, we can actually link the field from this field to another column. Going back to our report view, now we were able to pull data from Excel. So that's how we can pull the data from our data source. Okay, and then now we can create a report. As an example, I mentioned earlier that you should know first the dimensions and measure. Okay, so for an example, we will be creating a report. First, you need to pick a visualization. Say for an example, a donut. In our next video, we'll be discussing all of the visualizations tools there. So I will try to create a chart that will show sales per country. So I need to get here in the field sales, click sales. Okay, basically this is my measure, and then my dimension is the country. So there. So this is my report, my chart. Okay, sales by country. So it says here that United States of America has 21% of the sales. For Canada, it's 20.96%. For France, it's 20.51%. Okay, so if we want to show distinction with the specific dimensions, say for example, we would like to have a bar graph instead of donut or pie chart. This time, I'm going to pull data from sales per product line, the items that we sell. So there you go. So this is the sales by product, and then you can create title here. You can insert text box. Say for an example, sales dashboard. Okay, and then let's make it larger. Okay, there you go. And then you can also create at least a dashboard odometer for the actual sales. Okay, so you just need to click sales as your value, and then it says we have 118.73. The good thing about these charts, these are all interactive. You can click them and then everything moves. So out of the sales from USA, these are the actual sales by product for USA alone. It's overall it's 25.03 million. So that's it. We were able to define the what is Power BI, the use of Power BI, why Power BI, how we license Power BI, and finally create a simple dashboard, pull data from Excel, our data source in this case, and then there we have now a report. In our next video, we'll discuss each of the visualization charts here, what are the use, how we can use these charts, and then how we can do filtering options in our report. And later on, we'll also discuss the Power BI desktop online, the online services, the intelligence that we can use complementing Power BI, and finally how we can distribute and share the created dashboard to our colleague and to the Power BI mobile application. Okay, so before I end this video, let's have as I've said, we have an exam. Let's have a knowledge check. So for your answer, you can actually comment down it below. Okay, so we have two questions. The first question is, what is the common flow of activity in Power BI? First, create a report in Power BI mobile, share it to Power BI desktop, view and interact in the Power BI service. Second option is create a report in Power BI service, share to Power BI mobile, interact with it in Power BI desktop. Third option is bring data in Power BI desktop and create a report, share it to Power BI service, view and interact with reports and dashboards in the service and Power BI mobile. Finally, final option is bring data in Power BI mobile, create a report, then share it to Power BI desktop. This is actually an excerpt in the Power BI and Data Analytics certification of Microsoft. But this one is very basic lang, no? So, for those who can answer this question and this question, give me one benefit of using Power BI. Okay, so you can comment down your answers and get a chance to win gift cards. Winners will be announced on the next video covering new topics. Okay, so there you go. I hope you learned something today about Power BI. Okay, and our next video we'll try to discuss other topics. Okay, so that's it for today. Bye bye.